Welcome to everyone here in person today and to everyone who is visiting our service from home. UU Fellowship of Lake Norman, also known as Unitarians of Lake Norman, is an open and inclusive congregation. Our members walk diverse paths to find meaning and purpose, but we are united by our belief in the inherent worth and dignity of all, and by the responsibility to express our faith through acts of justice and compassion. My name is Regina Burchett, and I have been an active member of this congregation since 2017. I'd also like to add that you are welcome to subscribe to our weekly newsletter. Just click on the link in the gold-colored box on the homepage of our website, uulakenorman.org. Our musician today is Mike Alec, and we are grateful to him for his wonderful music. Our speaker today is Reverend Pat Jobe, who joined our fellowship in 2020. He is married to his lovely spouse, Gabe, and is an enthusiastic supporter of Unitarians of Lake Norman, FeedNC, Heart of the Carolinas UU Animal Ministry, and all work done by UUs in our neck of the woods. Please join me in saying our chalice lighting words, which are in your order of service. We light this flaming chalice to illuminate the world we see. In our search for truth, may we trust. In our search for justice, may we be loving. And in loving, may we find peace. Reverend Pat will now give our opening words.
I do have opening words, but as so many of you know, I often take this opportunity to say something else besides opening words. And the first thing that I have to say is a sincere and heartfelt apology to all of you. I bought 36 bite-sized muffins to celebrate the congregation's birthday today, and we have clearly exceeded 36 in the room. So what I'm going to ask you to do, no, not one bite, not one. That's a good idea, Mary. It's a good idea. What I'm going to ask you to do is if you see somebody whose name tag has red and red at the top and the bottom and white in the middle, let them go first. And then let chaos ensue. I am so thrilled that Mike and Betsy are here. I had been knowing them for 12 years. And I made the mistake of mentioning the last time I was down at Bluffton, mentioning to them that I had worked with them for 12 years. Never in my 69 years has anybody wanted to have anything to do with me for 12 years. Except for Gabriel, we're fixing to hit 15. But I said this to one of the UUs at Bluffton, and it wasn't you, Betsy. It was a member of the female persuasion, but I can't remember who said it. But when I said I've never worked with any group for 12 years, this woman said, well, maybe it's a matter of limited exposure.
What does that even mean?
I'm glad you don't understand that, Mike. That means a lot. Our opening words come from Norbert Capek, who not only gave us the flower communion during his ministry as a Czech Unitarian, but also is among our martyrs. He was executed by the Nazis for opposing their regime. He wrote these words: "It is worthwhile to live and fight courageously for the sacred ideals. Oh, blow ye evil winds into my body's fiery soul, which you will never unravel. Even though disappointed 1,000 times or fallen in the fight and everything would seem worthless, I have lived amidst eternity. Be grateful, my soul. My life was worth living. He who was pressed from all sides but remained victorious in spirit is welcomed into the choir of heroes. He who overcame the fetters, giving wings to his mind, is entering into the golden age of the victorious." Now, that's a lot of opening words to listen to. And it's a lot more than "do not push," which was written on the back of a dump truck on Brookshire Freeway. But I want to pull out just one sentence from that Capek quote for emphasis. He said, "Oh, blow ye evil winds into my body's fiery soul, which you will never unravel." That is worth taping to your bathroom mirror.
Please stay comfortably seated as Mike Alec plays our centering music. Thank you, Mike. Reverend Pat will now speak about the flower communion and our congregational birthday.
I want to say just a couple of quick notes on Fritz's sermon from last Sunday. I loved it. His wholesale attack on the theology of eternal damnation was wonderful and engaging, and I loved it. I just have one slight deviation. Not all Christians believe in eternal damnation. They don't all believe in a literal hell where Jews and Buddhists and atheists are condemned to burn in eternal torture. Many are universalists, which means they believe the passage in 1 Timothy where Paul says Jesus came to save the world, especially the believers. We also like the passage in Philippians where Paul quotes the Christ hymn affirming that all will come. And we like Jeremiah 35, where we are told a day is coming when no one will need to admonish others to know the Lord. For in that day all will know me, and I will write my name upon their hearts, and I will be their God, and they will be my people. This is the only passage in the Hebrew texts that includes the phrase new covenant, and Jesus uses it to celebrate Holy Communion. Again, let me just say I love Fritz's sermon, and I affirm that his points about anti-Semitism and other prejudices were well put and important. He did a great job. Now, if any of your non-UU friends ask you whether we ever read the Bible, you can tell them, yeah, every now and then. They do. You'll hear a lot about individuals who are important from this lectern. After all, outstanding individuals who are either Unitarian or Universalist or the combination thereof have made us very happy. We've even been proud to be associated with them and their legacies. And then there's a whole other crowd of individuals, people like Albert Einstein and Marie Curie, who may not have been Unitarian or Universalist, but still held to our rather important views of things being not necessarily as the established order might say they are. We love famous UUs and other famous people who think like us. We really like people who think like us. But today is a day to hold sacred another group of individuals. And that is the individuals who are here in this room. The individuals who are holding flowers this morning as we are about to participate in the Unitarian flower communion. There are at least 3 actions involved in this ritual, but the first is acknowledging our own sacred, precious, infinitely valuable selves. Really? Really? It's especially good to do it with you two here. Thank you so much for coming. I'm sorry we don't have a big mirror across the back of the sanctuary because I would love for you to see what I'm seeing. You're all beautiful. How wonderful. How precious. If you can imagine it, think about just one wonderful thing that you realize about yourself. One wonderful thing that you realize about yourself. Maybe like Doug Wall, you love to laugh. And Doug will laugh at almost anything. Maybe like Claudia Perkinson, you have been a leader in founding an incredible nonprofit organization that does great work to make the world a better place. And Jim, I'm counting on you to let her know that I said that about her, okay? Maybe you are a wonderful parent, a loving offspring who adores your parents or their memory. Maybe you're a Jim Dandy brother, sister, uncle, or aunt. Just pick one thing about yourself as you hold your flower this afternoon and appreciate that one thing as you hold your flower this afternoon. Ann's already nodding her head. She's going to do it. You're going to do it, aren't you, Ann? One thing. It's good. My beloved friend Tommy Hicks used to have a needle point on his wall that read, "The best you ever did is who you are." The best you ever did is who you are. Can you imagine? We all know the worst we ever did, and when we're reminded of it, it feels a little bit like a rock in our shoe, or maybe much worse. Don't we go there quickly? But the best we ever did is who we are? Really? So take that one best thing you ever did and think about it as you hold your flower this afternoon. That is the first act of our flower communion. Now it's time for the second act. Look around at someone close to you, someone you know pretty well, maybe a family member, maybe a close friend. Go ahead, look around. Look around and see who you see. Isn't it strange and a little disconcerting how reluctant we are to look at each other? But look, see that person who is close to you, and if you don't have anybody close to you here in the congregation, then look at Dick Heidenberg. Dick loves everybody, and he will say silly things to you to let you know that he sees you and he's glad you're here. Yeah, he will walk up to anybody in the foyer and say, "Congratulations." You have no idea what for, but you're being congratulated. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. But if you do have somebody close to you, that second act of this ritual is to think about that person and the flower that they are holding. Think about that person and the flower that they are holding. This may take a moment. So I'll be quiet while you think about that best thing about the person close to you and their flower. And finally, the third act is to simply consider somebody about whom you know nothing. Somebody in this room about whom you know nothing, or maybe very little. Although Norbert Capek was very intentional about the depth and value of these first two movements of this ritual, he was very clear that this one is essential as well. Because so many times greatness walks among us without our knowing. We know there is a great guitar player in the room, and he is not I. Mike, the music you played this morning was worth coming over here. Absolutely. Absolutely. I've told this story before. I was doing the summer sermons in Spartanburg, and a guy walked up to me after church one Sunday, and he said, "You're pretty good, but I come over here for the music." I do too, Mike. I come over here for the music. We also know that Jim Arnold and Sandy McFeely and now Jamie Bosian are all world-class dishwashers. Jim's so humble, he tipped his head to hear that said about him. But he is. He's a world-class dishwasher. But there is so much greatness here that is unknown by some of us and maybe all of us. So find somebody in the room, again, look around, find somebody you almost know nothing about, and consider their hidden greatness as the last of our three movements of this ritual. Consider the hidden greatness and bring your flowers up and place them in the common vase. Mike, there's yours. Come and get it. That's as close as you'll ever get to a Unitarian altar call.
It's going to fall over. Don't worry about it.
It's okay. It's okay.
You're doing a hell of a job.
Thank you, buddy.
Is there a name on this doll? Is there a name to take this home? No. Too bad. I like that.
Yellow has to
Eddie's critiquing the arrangement. Good job. It's amazing, isn't it?
I want to get that quote from you.
Okay.
I'll put it on my back.
Okay, good. I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
It was a good one.
Yeah.
It was a nice crowd, huh?
Yeah. Unfortunately, more than 36.
Well, that's a good job.
Okay. This is the 100th. This is the 100th anniversary of the Flower Communion. Norbert Capek noticed that Unitarians had nothing like Holy Communion, which his Christian relatives practiced with such love and respect for the ritual. So he came up with the flower communion in 1923. And now it's 2023, 100 years later. His wife, Maya, brought it to the United States after her husband's execution at the hand of the Nazis. And today it is practiced all over the world. As of this moment, we have practiced roughly half of the ritual. There's more to come. What's to come? We are taking a flower home. But it is very important that you make every effort to take a different flower home than the one you just placed in the vase. That'll be no problem for Laura. She had quite an effort to get hers in. Somebody else can worry about getting it out. The different flower is symbolic of a different person in this room. A different person with whom you may be going home in a little while, or a different person about whom you know nothing. But certainly a different person. Why is that important? The flower communion is a connecting ritual among us. It affirms how important it is that we connect. Connect. Not only as individuals, but as a congregation. As we also celebrate 13 years as a congregation in this community, as we look at that vase filled with all those flowers, we realize the obvious. We are stronger together than we will ever be apart. Like the rope that is made of many strands, we are this arrangement of these flowers. Yes, we are those individual flowers, but we are also that full vase. Capek believed the full vase would remind us of the impression many flowers make, as opposed to the impression an individual flower makes. Just as a dance troupe covers a stage, just as many lights create the impression from a Christmas tree, just as a green lawn is full of tens of thousands of leaves of grass, this vase is us. We stand together for each other and against those winds of evil that Capek talked about. The flower communion is an affirmation of what can be accomplished when many stand together. The beauty, the oneness, the many parts which make a whole. And happy birthday to this congregation, which means so much to so many of us. So take a long look at the arrangement in the vase. I notice some of you have already been taking pictures. Please feel free to take pictures. We ain't that formal. And then come and choose a different flower than the one you brought to the vase and take it home with you. Maybe a vase at home that will carry the connection forward tomorrow, the next day. Our connections bring us to life. Our connections bring us to each other. This is an incredibly beautiful opportunity to take a flower of connection and remember how dear we are to each other. Come take a flower to conclude this flower communion, and then we will have talk back after a brief birthday celebration. Come, take a flower home. It's a little more complicated to get them out than it was to put them in. Nope, I'm not going to get you. Just keep pulling, Doug. It'll come.
Okay.
This is the one Laura
It's not
brought.
so easy to get them out. That's a steep line. That's a really good line.
Yeah, take that.
Yeah.
Oh, now they're all coming
See
in.
what you did?
Yeah.
Breaking the group to-
I made
breaking
a,
the group up.
Tom made a mess, made a mess.
It doesn't matter if you're-
You get one too, you know.
How about that? You're welcome.
Oh, yeah, somebody should take a picture.
How about that? Did you bring that?
You're a woman, you should go.
There you go. There you go, Mike.
Oh, thank
A
you.
modest
Oh,
one for you.
wow.
Yeah.
This guy is causing problems.
You can plow all your friends down.
There you go, Jim. Good job. Good job.
Yeah.
Sandy, I need you to stay up here. After you get your flower, I need you to stay up.
Reverend Sir.
This is birthday. This is birthday.
You make those yourself?
No. It looks like we might run out. Come here. Last year when we celebrated our birthday, I brought a muffin for Jim Price as our president. This year I brought a muffin for Sandy and for Lynn Henderson, our vice president, and for Agnes, our treasurer, and for Jim Arnold, our trustee at large. So if you will blow out, make a wish, and then blow out the candles. You made a wish? Okay.
What was it?
Okay, can you take over distributing these to the board? Happy birthday. Okay, Regina, come help me with the talk back. We listen, I watched the service last Sunday online. If you don't come up and use this microphone, the people who are watching at home, and there are always 4 or 5, cannot hear you. So if you have something to say at the talkback, if you have a question to ask, come now and use this microphone, please, for technical proficiency. Or not.
I had never heard that phrase, the best you ever did is who you are.
The best you ever did is who you are, Regina.
Who- much better than the worst I ever did.
Much better than the worst. Yes. Yes.
So, do you know, is that a quote from?
It was on a needlepoint on his wall, and it was not attributed to anybody, although I'm sure somebody has said it along the way. Any other talk back? Any other response to
Come on up.
to that?
I have to say that your mic situation inhibits your talk back. I'm sure I'm not the only one who might chime up if we're just easier. We just stood up and just said something, but
Right. It
You
is
gotta come up.
inhibiting, and we're
this one?
Yeah.
This one? I thought it was this one. Okay. How's that? How's that?
split the difference. Yeah.
One and then the other.
I came up here for a reason. I was going to say something about talkback, and it was about, yes, looking at the best one has ever done. Positive thinking, look at the good side.
Yes.
And You look at the good side, great stuff is there.
I'm sorry, I know this is inhibiting to ask you to come up and speak into the mic, but when you're not speaking into the mic at home, it sounds like, so we need to do better than that. Anybody else? Okay. Okay, Mike, what a guy, what an American. I'm sorry, what a Canadian.
I am a Canadian, but it's good to be here with all of you. It feels like home. You know, this is the first time we've been to a UU service that isn't our home church. And it really does feel good. So, thank you all.
Okay, Ann, come, please.
You know I was going to be troublemaker.
No, I didn't.
Hi, everybody. This is my first time here. I was raised a Catholic. Do you mind?
No.
And this is wonderful for me. I can't believe, I think I found the most perfect place for me. So thank you so much for being here.
Yay! That's what the referee does when they score a touchdown.
Okay, good.
You want to talk, Betsy? Okay. Come on, Betsy. Come on. I need to tell y'all quickly, Betsy runs the pastoral care program in Bluffton. She has about 20 volunteers who help out when anybody gets sick or when a family member dies. It's an awesome ministry, and she does a great job.
Thanks, Pat. I have a wonderful team.
It's all right, you can't break it.
I can't break it. So we're here because we're gathering with our family on Lake Norman for a week. And that's what puts us in this area. And our family, they're very active. They're on the boat, they're water skiing, they're just doing whatever, a million things. And there's not a lot I can do at this age other than watch them and enjoy them. But if I think about it, it's really not what I can do. It's who I am. That's important.
Yes.
So thank you for that.
Yes.
And my grandson, who is a captain of his high school soccer team, he's a senior, he talks about being the best soccer player and working the hardest of anyone. And when we get there tonight at dinner, I'm going to tell him it's all about who he is, not so much what he's done,
Yes.
but who he is. So
Awesome.
thank you guys. And I looked around at you and you all have such kind faces. And I looked at a few people that I don't know, and I thought of things like, you are very elegant. And you are very competent and very kind. You with the blues, yes. What's your name? You look very competent and very kind, and so do you, the person next to her. So, see lots of nice things that I'm imagining. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Ask your family to come and join us. They live here.
We did. They don't live here. We asked them all, and yesterday they said, oh, yeah. Today they said, no, I think we're going to go.
Anybody else? Anybody else want to talk back?
Can I just say one more?
Shoot, Jim.
Steve, you're the guitar player?
Mike.
Mike, I'm sorry. Fabulous playing today. Thank you. Yeah, I would love to play with you sometime, and maybe it'll happen.
We can make that happen. We can make that happen. Okay, thanks so much.
And now we'll get to hear even more of the wonderful music from Mike Alec.
And Eddie Gunn.
And Eddie Gunn.
put something, we put something special together, but Eddie doesn't know it. You got a piece of it, Eddie.
G.
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 All right. We just worked this number up.
We did.
Okay. So on-the-job training.
Ah,
It's a song by Neil Young. There it is.
Comes a time when you're drifting. There comes a time when you say that feeling's right. See them lifting. You lift that baby right up off the ground. Oh, this old world keeps spinning around. It's a wonderful trees ain't laying down. Comes a time. Comes a time. You and we were captured. They took our souls and we flew away. We were right, we were given, and that's how we kept what we gave away. Oh, this whole world keeps spinning around. It's a wonderful trees ain't laying down. Comes a time. Comes a time.
Don't be too high.
This fellowship is important to us all. The contributions we make today allow us to sustain and grow our congregation and to reach out to our community, both nearby and in the larger world. Your giving affirms our commitment to each other and to the community. With grateful hearts, we receive these gifts. May they encourage us to live lives of integrity, compassion, and peace. Thank you also to our members who volunteer so much of their time on our UU board and all of those who participate in the numerous efforts to help out other humans, animals, and the earth. We are grateful for all you do. We have some announcements. They're in your order of service. A special note to visitors and members, everyone's invited to stay after service today to visit with Reverend Pat and to help us celebrate our birthday. A reminder, there's no food or drink in this sanctuary. And also, generally, we have a social supper after the service. Everyone, especially visitors, is welcome to join the informal group at a local restaurant right after the service. Please check with Linda Heidenberg or Marge Flowers about today's plan. Yes. McAllister's in Cornelius after the service today. Our closing song today is number 100, I've Got Peace Like a River.
You're up again. Still G. This is good. Eddie doesn't have to warm up another part.
It's always G.
I got peace like a river. I got peace like a river. I got peace like a river in my soul. I got peace like a river. I got peace like a river. I got peace like a river in my soul. I got joy like a fountain. I got joy like a fountain. Joy like a fountain in my soul.
You see, there's tuning to his voice and there's
We're modulating. I got love like an ocean. I got love like an ocean. Love like an ocean in my soul. I got love like an ocean. I got love like an ocean. Love like an ocean in my soul. I got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow in my soul. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops. Tears like the raindrops in my soul. I got tears like the raindrops. I got tears like the raindrops. Tears like the raindrops in my soul. Take one, David. I got tears like a mountain in my soul. Strength like a mountain, I got strength like a mountain. I got strength like a mountain in my soul.
Thanks for this.
I like throwing curves.
We'll now have our closing words from Reverend Pat.
Our closing words come from someone else who thinks like us, Albert Einstein. You know you do, Mike. You know you do. You know you do. A human being is part of the whole called by us universe, a part limited in time and space. We experience ourselves, our thoughts and feelings as something separate from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for a few persons nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from the prison by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty. The true value of human beings is determined primarily by the measure and the sense in which they have obtained liberation from the self.
Please say with me the words in your order of service as I extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, or the community, or the fire of commitment. These to carry in our hearts until we meet again.
Please don't eat in the sanctuary, but please grab a muffin on your way out.